Paolo Banchero is not a flashy player. He's not doing a crazy highlight reel every time down the stretch. Instead, he's playing simple, controlled basketball that all comes down to simple fundamentals. Today, I'm going to be breaking down to you guys how you can incorporate some of Pablo's play style into your own games, no matter your size nor athleticism. The first thing I want to point out is how physical he is on drives and how he's able to use bumps to get himself space, as we see in this drive where he creates the advantage by getting to that bump. In this next play, Paolo uses the same exact bump euro, the little bump to get a really good finish. But notice this is all because of his physicality. And just by having that low controlled and really strong base, he's able to create an advantage for himself and get his defender in a bad position defensively. I think knowing how to be physical in basketball and using bumps to create advantages for yourself is one of the most important things in basketball. And I would challenge every person watching this video in their next game to try to be as physical as they can. And when I say that, I don't mean like shoving people or extending your arm a bunch. I just mean owning space around you and knowing, like, learning how to bump off players and really use your strength and your base to really put players at a disadvantage and really just make the game a lot easier for yourself. I think that's the main thing you can learn from watching Paolo play is just how simple his game is and how he's really able to just use really good footwork and fundamentals to really create advantages for himself. When you go back to this shot, the first thing I notice is how he gets to that initial bump and notices Chris Middleton kind of holding his ground. But keep in mind, guys, how controlled he is on this initial bump, right? When he's bumping Chris Middleton, he's not out of control, right? He's still in control. He's still owning space. He's still in his base, and he's in a good position, right? And he's able to use a shot fake there and step through. Why, though? This comes into the next thing I want to bring and talk about his game is how great his footwork is and how simple it really is, right? Another thing you can learn from Paolo's game is how great he is in the triple threat and how he's able to use quick jab steps and able to read his defender with his eyes up and have a wide, strong base to create advantages for himself. Let's go back, and I want you guys to notice on this triple threat, he's reading the defender, right? He's reading Jaylen Brown, and he's also reading the space over here, and he knows that that's where he wants to get to. But also, he gives a jab here, and he notices that Jaylen Brown doesn't react. He doesn't move, right? He doesn't shift his body at all. So what does he do? He goes to that right side, and he gets an easy layup. Another thing I love about Paolo's game is that he doesn't play too sped up or too fast. He's controlled on drives. He's not sprinting. He gets his defender on his hip, then he's able to just use a bump to create space and make that finish easier on himself. I think a lot of players in basketball really do try to do too much in the offensive end rather than keeping it simple, using your body and using the leverage you have and quick decisions to really create the advantage for yourself. On this next play by Paolo, notice how he does one simple move and is able to get to a really nice finish. You can see he doesn't do too much. A lot of players will try to over dribble and do too much, but look, he gets it right here. Notices Pritchard kind of leaning one way. He does one quick cross and he's straight downhill and gets to a really nice finish. Really simple, right? A lot of people try to overcomplicate scoring in basketball. It's really simple. You just got to slow down the game and make simple reads, right? Quick moves. Don't do too much. All right, here's the next play from Paolo. Gets the catch from Wagner. Instant pull up. Let's go back and really look at why he took that shot. So right when he gets the ball, take a look at Derek White and Porzingis. Neither of them are in any sort of position to get a hand up and get a contest. So what does he do? He makes the simple read, simple decision, makes the game easier on himself, takes that shot. It's a good shot, it goes in. A lot of players will take that shot and they'll make the right read and they'll miss it and they'll stop shooting it. I want you guys to keep shooting that shot. It is a good shot, make or miss, shoot that shot. It's a good shot. All right, here we go on this next possession. Gives it to Wagner, gets it back, rips through, pull up. Really good shot, right? Let's go back and break that down and see how he's able to get that look. So let's go back to the off the catch. So he gets the catch from Wagner. Notice Pritchard is in kind of a bad defensive position and kind of doesn't want him to go middle. So he instantly off the catch, rips through, is able to already have Pritchard in a bad defensive position because he's beat. But he also notices Porzingis, a rim protector, is taking away his ability to get all the way for that layup. So what does he do? He stops short, gets to a really nice mid-range look, and is able to knock it down. I really love possessions like this where players attack the bad closeout because it's such a simple thing, but at the same time, it's really effective and it really puts your defender in a really bad position early on just by making the simple read off the catch that your defender's in a bad position. One rip through, and you already have them beat, right? Quick first step, you have them beat, then you get them behind you, and you're able to really create advantage for yourself. And it's something that's really simple, and I think everybody should really try to take advantage of that on whoever's guarding them in their next game. Really think about the second you get that catch, can I rip through and really create an advantage for myself? In this next play, Paolo was able to get to a really nice mid-range shot, kind of get into his bag a little bit. And he's really able to get into his so-called bag here because of all the rhythm he's built up throughout the game through doing the simple things. Bucket by just having really good footwork, right? So really simple, again, simple basketball, really good footwork. Gets the catch, jab, no reaction, jab, reach. He sees that. Tatum jumps up, not in a good defensive position. What does he do? One more jab, goes, layup. Really simple basketball, right? Simple finish, simple shot. Really good shot, though. I really hope you guys can all incorporate some of the things we've talked about in this video in your next game. And you can really just do this by really making the game simpler and pacing yourself, especially on drives. Don't get too sped up. Make sure you guys are using your physicality and contact to really just create the advantage for yourself. The last thing that I'll leave you guys with is just don't overcomplicate this game. Scoring is as easy as you make it. So really just think about the things that we've talked about. Slow down the game. Be a strong player. Use your strength. And really just use really good balance and good footwork to really just make the game easier for yourself. And I promise you in your next game, you'll have a lot easier time getting your buckets.